Alright, hi everyone. My name is Stanley from the Operations and Leadership Psychology branch of the Home Team Behavioral Sciences Center, and I'll be presenting on my research titled Strengthening Public Trust by Building Trust Within and Beyond the Home Team. So trust takes years to build, but it's easily broken in seconds and may never be fully recovered. I'm sure everyone is aware that the recent events such as the COVID-19 pandemic have cast a spotlight on public trust in institutions and even raised the question of how can organizations maintain and strengthen public trust in the modern day context. And when we think of that, more often than not, we tend to overlook the significant impact that the sentiments within the organization itself can have in shaping public trust. So this research will delve into how trust within the organization is critical to public trust, as well as to provide some practical tips for leaders to build this intra-organizational trust. So based on literature review, trust is defined as the willingness of a party to be vulnerable to the actions of another party based on the expectation that the other will perform actions important to the truster, irrespective of the ability to monitor or control the other party. And in the context of intra-organizational trust, the trusters usually refer to members of the organization, while the trustees usually refer to the organization as a whole. So this research seeks to deepen leaders and organizations' understanding of this often overlooked relationship between intra-organizational trust and public trust in view of three key reasons. Firstly, law enforcement and public safety agencies' work usually involves close interactions with the public. Secondly, positive impact that the intra-organizational trust can have on operational effectiveness. And lastly, the emerging trends and challenges brought about by rapid digitalization. So what are some of the impacts of intra-organizational trust on public trust? First of all, the behavior of officers in the public can directly affect public trust. So actions such as non-compliance or misconduct can greatly tarnish the reputation and trust in the organization. Secondly, the dual identity of transient and long-term members of the organization, for example your contract staff or officers, can also indirectly impact public trust through the experience that they carry with them beyond their work. So this begs the question, what can leaders do to build intra-organizational trust? So based on our literature review, we developed a model that consists of 6 key dimensions that affect intra-organizational trust, making up the acronym GRACER. So here are some tips for leaders to take home with you. So first of all, to increase displays of goodwill, leaders can look to include personal elements such as first-person language, I, me, myself, as well as emotive language such as sharing disappointment, and this is just going beyond just covering facts. Secondly, to communicate relevant information, leaders can frame their messages in simple and direct ways, such as using short statements and simple language to bring across that key content in their messaging. Thirdly, it's important for leaders to exhibit their expertise and ability in order to increase trust. And leaders can do so by creating more opportunities for themselves to demonstrate their competence. They can do it by providing more regular check-ins and opportunities for officers to consult and ask questions, or being more involved in the onboarding process. Next, to leverage on common interests, leaders can articulate how organizational values are reflected in the officer's daily work and highlight how the goals of the organization may present themselves in the current climate. Next, it is important for leaders to enhance perceptions of ethical behavior. This can be done by highlighting processes and structures in place to ensure fairness, which could include the checks and guidelines designed to ensure fairness in work practices and having standard procedures and frameworks for certain processes. Lastly, trust is a two-way street, and leaders must understand that to garner trust, they must themselves trust first. So leaders can encourage reciprocity of trust by entrusting officers with key decisions and empowering them by appointing them to lead key projects. So these are just some of the tips for leaders to build intra-organizational trust, but some caveats to note is that they are just broad guidelines and leaders should adapt them to the needs of their organization. Also, beyond enhancing intra-organizational trust through these 6 dimensions, timeliness and consistency should also be considered to ensure the effectiveness. I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much and have a good day.